Nazi Popeyes.
Good old Nazis.
That's how I read it from here.
All right.
What is it actually? Because from here it looks like Popeyes.
Nazi prophecies.
Oh, I prophesy Nazi Popeyes.
So everyone knows, or you guys know, most people know, they were very superstitious. They were very, the Nazis and Hitler specifically was like very into cult stuff, was into
occults,
was into
relics.
like relics and all that stuff, believed in all of it.
Right.
Well, it's no surprise that they also were really into prophecy. And I kind of knew that already before I learned some of this stuff. What I didn't know...
Yeah, I mean, if you watch Captain America...
True.
The first one. The best one.
What I didn't know was that it was also just like, not specifically Nazis, but it was like German and even more broader European culture at this time for prophecy. Like, people believed in that stuff.
Like,
I had no idea. That was like interesting to me.
Like the gypsy walking around and giving prophecies and all that.
Not quite, but I'll get into it.
I know the Europeans really hate gypsies too. So
yes. So I'm gonna do what you did and start at the end.
Bet.
April 1945. Wilhelm Wolff is underground.
What a name. That's a great name.
Is underground in a bunker. I don't even know if I said his name right, but that's how I'm saying it. He was underground in a bunker while Berlin was basically at the very end of the war.
Okay.
A few days before Hitler supposedly died.
Supposedly.
This guy was Hitler's astrologer because Hitler had his own personal astrologer.
Of course, because
this is what he was into.
Yeah, when you're the ruler of it.
And he was looking at his star charts and his whatever mumbo jumbo, and he notices something big.
Like really big?
Mars is going to enter Leo on April 30th. And we all know what that means.
Enter Leo?
Leo Major.
Yes, enter Leo.
Okay.
And according to that, it meant Hitler was going to die. But he didn't tell anybody, especially not Hitler.
Leo,
It's astrology, so it's the
how does that connection? Please explain.
I'm not
constellation. That's what I'm trying to think of.
I'm
constellation Leo.
I'm not an astrologer, so I have no idea how it correlates. But somehow it correlated to Hitler dying on that day. He doesn't tell anybody, especially not Hitler. 5 days later, April 30th, Mars enters Leo and Hitler kills himself.
No, he doesn't.
He unalives himself.
Sorry. Hitler unalives himself. You're right. So that's how much they believe in the prophecy. Even at the very end of his life, one of his astrologers, one of his prophecy people had the vision or the stars said Hitler's going to die on this day, and then he did.
People will do anything except Christ.
Well, yeah, but
they'll be like, yes, stars, absolutely.
1555. Everyone's favorite prophetic guy, Nostradamus.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the
very popular fellow,
Benny Hinn.
Yeah,
Benny
1555. Benny Hinn doing his thing, terrorizing the people.
As one does.
Anyway, if you don't know who Nostradamus is and you're listening to this podcast,
get educated.
What are you doing?
Get a job.
Like, what are you doing? He does prophecies or did prophecy stuff that people like to use for everything. And wouldn't you know it, There's one that talks about a child being born in the poorest parts of Western Europe, and he becomes a good speaker.
A child.
And stirs up hatred and rises in the east and ignores the law and brings fire, blood, and war. Blah, 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 blah. Who does that sound like? It's Hitler. Because, yeah.
Behind door number 3.
You said that like a game show.
Yeah, I know what I was going to say.
So basically, people knew about Nostradamus' thing even then because, again, it was the people had, especially people in power in Germany at this time, were really superstitious, really into this stuff, really aware of this. And some of them weren't necessarily as superstitious as more as they were opportunists. And so they wanted to take advantage. So they twisted and added a couple of words to his Nostradamus' thing here and painted the picture so it was like Hitler. So they could say, look, this was destiny, right? So no, don't really think. No, I don't think Nostradamus has much of any stock you should take in any of his stuff because it's all super vague and people are just looking into it. But in this specific thing, they even added stuff to make it. So no, I don't actually think Nostradamus predicted Hitler. But I
remember watching History Channel about Nostradamus back in the day.
Yes.
Golly, what a throwback.
But the German people ate it up. In 1821, a Heinrich Heine, a German Jewish poet, writes about a thunderbolt coming out of Germany that would make the world collapse and says eagles would fall out of the sky and lions would hide. And then again, they say, this is Hitler.
Yes.
1830, there was another person who had visions about stuff in the future and about machines and boxes that carry voices across long distances and stuff that people were like, oh, he's talking about trains. He's talking about telephones. And somehow, oh, it's Hitler. Like, so they have like all these people in the past saying, oh, it's pointing to Hitler.
As all prophecies do.
In 1923, a German astrologer named Elsbeth Elberton publishes her almanac. And she has one horoscope specifically for Adolf Hitler, who had in 1923 isn't really anybody yet. Like he's a nobody.
So she's ahead of the time.
And she says he's someone willing to sacrifice himself for Germany. Someone reckless, violent, and someone crowds would follow. And again, 1920s, people were really into this, and her almanac sold and people read it. So when Hitler started rising...
Question.
Yes.
Did her almanac also say that he was going to be a drug head?
No.
Okay.
None of this stuff says that stuff. It all says...
It's good stuff.
He's a leader.
They're just going to completely ignore the fact that all the people around him was just pumping him with drugs. And he's just rocking back and forth during the Olympics like...
Yes, they ignore that.
But she's just excited.
There are people in Germany who begin paying attention to Hitler because of this and expect him to it's
like,
wild.
This is the guy.
It's wild that in part these prophecies or these fake things literally did lead to Hitler's rise.
Well, it's just a self-fulfilling thing. That's what it sounds like.
And then even in the US, you had people who were saying things about imperialism rising in Europe and war coming and all this stuff. So you had prophecies that maybe they weren't specifically about Hitler, but they were about Germany. So it was like a bunch of prophecies of Hitler rising to power and a bunch of prophecies of like Germany coming into war and conquering.
It's not really that hard to read the news and make predictions.
So in Munich, a group were collecting these prophecies. They were keeping up with what was going on. And like you just said, they're like, we don't really care about the prophecies for the sake of the prophecies, but we want to make it happen.
Right.
So they started working in secret and they called themselves the Thule Society.
Another secret society, eh?
And they believe in this ancient underground race that supposedly gave humanity knowledge and technology.
The Aryans.
And they think the German people are meant to inherit this and take over.
Mm.
And the people involved in this group are rich people, they're judges, they're police, they're military, they're part of the German workers' parties, which eventually becomes the Nazi party.
So the common folks and the elites are joining in on this, huh?
Yes.
Hmm.
And so Dietrich Eckhart sees a corporal yelling at crowds, and it's of course Hitler. He realizes it's Hitler. He takes Hitler under his wing, and this is Hitler's mentor. And
So this is the guy we have to blame.
yes, and he's a big person in the Thule Society, and he takes Hitler in and teaches him everything that he knows.
Taught him too much.
This is the whole story to Star Wars.
Did you know? Did you know that there was a priest that saved Hitler as a child from drowning?
Oh, that guy must have felt like such a great person.
The guy that was his mentor, Hitler dedicates Mein Kampf to him.
Oh, wow.
Then you have Erich Jan Honessen, who is the guy who teaches Hitler how to speak properly.
Who taught him how to paint? I want to know that.
Dwight.
Self-taught.
That's why it's so bad.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't okay. No. Look, it wasn't the fact that it was so bad.
It was horrible.
But it wasn't. It was more of a architectural type painting. It wasn't like a painting that you would hang up in your house. It was more like a painting that somebody would like
a concept painting?
Yeah, somebody would look at to build a building. Like it was very flat, and it's still. I've seen the video, the actual paintings that he's painted, not in real life but online. And it's so much better than what I could do, but it wasn't like anything.
I'll get you one.
Good. No, please don't.
Oh,
I'll get you two.
Well, I mean, that's the way to launder money around in this country is paintings.
yeah.
Paintings, horses, and government contracts. So, sure, go ahead and buy me some.
Anyhow, this guy takes him under the wing.
Yeah, so he has the political guy take him under his wing and teach him all that. Then he has a smooth-talking con man, basically, who takes him under his wing, more or less, and teaches him. He's like, you have ideas, now let me show you how to present the ideas, and teaches him how.
So he teaches him how to
He
speak.
elevates him to be an orator.
Mm.
And this guy ends up getting killed.
Of course.
Because
How did he die?
supposedly in February 1933, he has an event, goes into a trance because this guy, again, he's a con man, and the reason why he weaseled his way into with Hitler is because I guess he got caught or something, I don't know. But he reinvents his image as a psychic noble. So Hitler, he's portraying like he's psychic. So in 1933, he has a trance and sees a massive official building burning before the month ends. And then in 5 days, one of the Reichstag, or however you say it, burns down. And if I remember correctly, basically what really happened was this guy knew about it in advance, and that's why he said it. And that's why he ended up getting killed later, is because it's like you were part of it.
Yeah, makes sense, right?
But
Insider
this guy,
trading.
I remember hearing about that, and at first I was going to make a joke, but I was like, wait a minute.
then you have a guy, Gibbles. I don't know how you actually say his name.
Goebbels Gibbles.
It's
Either way is fantastic.
Yeah, I like both.
Goebbels.
Gibbles.
Goebbels Gibbles.
I don't know how.
I want to work at that store.
Gibbles.
Gibbles Gibbles.
He realizes that people believe in this prophecy stuff and learns he has an idea of how to use it to get people on board. And so he he's the one who alters Nostradamus's stuff.
The prophecies.
There's like a word for what Nostradamus's prophecies were, but I keep forgetting.
Liar?
I keep forgetting. No, it's like they got their specific word, but I forget. I forget what it is, and apparently didn't put it in my notes. Oh,
It's
quatrains. Okay. That's what it is. Quatrains.
I do that a lot too.
So he has a bunch of scholars edit Nostradamus' quatrains, make pamphlets with them that are forged to look ancient, and prints them and drops them all over Europe. Like they just go and drop these,
like from a plane.
Yeah.
Did they burn the edges and put coffee all on the paper?
And basically, they make it look like they're all like ancient.
Okay.
Like these are from. They try to make them look like they're from 1500s, and they drop them all over Europe, and basically are like this is destiny. The British realize what's happening. They realize it's propaganda. So they make up their own prophecies, their fake prophecies that Hitler loses, and does the same thing and drops them all over Germany. This was what I was like. This is the point when I was like, this is funny. I got to share this.
That's great.
Because the people were so like, basically let this stuff dictate their mood and like their morale and if they're going to get behind it. So if they were seeing stuff that said, oh, it's destiny for Hitler, they're going to rally behind Hitler. If they see, oh, it's destiny, he loses, they're going to, turn on him.
Let's go to another guy.
So they have Germany and the British just dropping fake prophecies.
It's almost like how it is today with social media.
Whoa.
I got a prophecy.
And then you have Rudolf Hess, who is like a higher ranking. I think he was higher ranking. He was somebody who knew Hitler was in the ranks, but he believed astrology so severely that even though Hitler was telling him stuff, and even though they had strategies that he would believe in, he would still consult with astrology.
I know a lot of white girls that do that too.
And so in 1941, he goes and sees an astrologer, and his astrologer says the stars favor peace talks, and basically tells him diplomacy is where it is right now. If you're diplomatic, you win. If you avoid diplomacy, you're probably going to lose. So Hess is like, Hitler's not going to listen to this because he's so determined or whatever. So he goes to Scotland to negotiate with Britain, and he tells them, in part of like trying to convince Churchill, who turns it down, by the way, because the astrology was completely bogus and diplomacy was not the answer. But he basically tells him some stuff about Hitler being the prophetic, and tells him, like, basically tries to sway him by saying, you only gain to side with us here, because if you say no to diplomacy, you're going to lose because it's written in prophecy. And basically tipping them off that they have something.
Yeah.
So Hitler finds out, he gets mad not because Hess went and did it without permission, but because he told them about the prophecies that they hadn't been sharing. Like, obviously the Nostradamus fake stuff, everyone kind of knew about.
No, he was just mad he couldn't sit on his throne, as his little dude told him. Say, look how great I'm going to be, dude.
So Hitler has Hess killed. And then Hitler basically pulls a Saul.
What?
He gathers every single astrologer.
Wait, Saul the movie?
No, Saul the king.
Oh.
Who goes and like kills
Saul.
Huh?
Yeah. I was thinking, I thought you said Saul, like S-A-W.
No, Saul. He has all the astrologers arrested and kills most of them. And it says it's illegal to associate or to go with them because this one said something against me.
Dude got so mad.
But the reason I said he did to Saul is because Saul did that, but then Saul was also still like, but I'm gonna sneak over here and do it, and that's what Hitler did. He still he had them all arrested, but then he still had his own personal.
Yeah, he went to the witch.
It's like
he can't. Jeez.
So, of course, everyone knows what happened. Hitler lost, the prophecies were all fake. Or were they? Because there's one more that I used in the hook. There is a prophecy from the story of Queen Esther. This is why I really wanted to talk about it, because I had never heard this, and I don't know if you guys ever heard this.
Queen Esther.
From the Bible.
This sounds very familiar.
I know you guys know the story of Esther and Haman.
Yeah.
But for those who may not know, the quick of it is they were living in, where were they again? Was it Babylon?
Yeah.
They
Babylon.
were so the Jews
Under King Xerxes.
were living in Babylon. The king's wife did something he didn't like, so he put her away. Wanted a new wife. There was a thing to see who would be the new wife. Esther is the one who, quote unquote, wins, becomes his new wife, and is now the queen. Nobody knows she's Jewish. There's a powerful man who's really top of the list in there, named Haman, who doesn't really like the Jews already, and he expects everyone to bow down to him and treat him like he's a god. And Esther's cousin Mordecai won't do it, makes him mad, and he decides that basically he says, you won't bow to me, but it's not good enough for me to just kill you. Instead, I'm going to kill you and all the Jews too, because that's rational.
Genocide over one man's.
And so he makes he gets the king to make a decree to do this. It's spent out all around. Here's a certain date we're going to do it on. It's set in stone. It's going to happen. And Mordecai gets Esther to confront he talk with the king, and so eventually she does. And meanwhile, Haman is creates like a gallows to hang Mordecai on.
Yep.
It's like one of the biggest ones. It's like a fancy thing. He's excited to use it. Esther goes to the king, and I'm really rushing this story, of course. But she
Yes.
goes to the king, says Haman's actually trying to kill me because I'm a Jew, and Mordecai, who was also a hero, by the way. And so the king said, that's not going to happen. And then he's like, oh, there's a new gallows that's been built. Hang him on the gallows. So
How convenient.
Haman gets hung on his own thing he made. And then he says, okay, I can't call off the killing, but the Jews have the right to defend themselves with lethal force if they want to. So they basically go and kill people who are planning on killing them. And Haman had 10 sons. This is the most important part of the story. Haman had 10 sons, and they go and ring up his 10 sons and kill them as well. So Haman gets killed, and then his 10 sons. That's the history of it. Well, in the book of Esther, when the 10 sons are listed in Hebrew, and this is like in almost every version, including the original, or as far as we know, the originals. So this is like in the Hebrew. This is not something changed later. And again, it's in multiple copies. When the 10 sons are listed in Hebrew, a few of their letters aren't written normally. 3 of them are written smaller than the rest, and 1 letter is written larger every single time. In Hebrew manuscripts, when letters are written differently, it's usually intentional, because Hebrew letters also double as numbers.
Yep.
So each letter has a numerical value. So instead of using numerals or dates, the numbers can be written with these letters like this. So if you take the letters that are written strangely and put them all together, they make the number 707. In Jewish dating, the thousands place is usually implied, not written out. And I think this skips something, but basically it's 707, but then there was also 1,000s added. So the number actually isn't 707, it's 5,707.
Which lines up to the date of...
And 5,707, year 5707 is 1946. And in
Nice.
October 1946, at Nuremberg, 10 Nazi leaders were sentenced to death by hanging for genocide.
Nice.
So on the year, based on that number, the same amount of people were killed in the same method for the same crime, except the others was like going to be genocide. This one kind of was, but basically both attempted genocide. Now, as far as the weirdness, that stops there. However, the Germans knew about this because one of them, when he stepped onto the gallows, shouted, Purim Fest 1946. And for, again, people who don't know, the Jews had like a holiday that this became called Purim because it was whatever, I forget the date or something. So when he was being hung, he basically was admitting this is their Purim. So the Germans supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly Hitler also said we need to be careful of the next Purim too. I don't know if that's true, but it is true that this guy shouted this when he died, which means that this was something they were looking at.
That they at least had a few people looking into it, trying to prevent it. But a lot of times when somebody tries to prevent something, they inevitably create it.
Yes. So I think it's just interesting how there's just a lot of some of it obviously is 100% manufactured and like the we're taking advantage and we know, but there are a few things that's like you kind of did make it happen, but at the same time it wasn't manipulated. It just ended up happening, and it's kind of interesting, and it's just weird that they were very into.
So our governments pay so much attention to religious prophecies. It's insane. They're obviously, when we went to Iraq, we were at war with mostly Muslim people. There was a city that, and this is what reminds me, there was a city that I can't remember it, and I'm probably going to get some of these facts mixed up, but basically the Muslim Bible, the Quran, says that the West will take over this city, and you meaning the Muslim people, will have to take it back and so fulfill whatever prophecy from Muhammad or whatever, whoever wrote it, and then they'll have victory over their whole land. Our government knew about it, so we hired the Russians to attack because the Russians aren't in the West. The Russians took it, and the Muslims said, oh, we can't take it because it's not part of the prophecy. And that's how we took over that city.
That's wild.
I'm guarantee you, like, I don't believe the Muslim faith at all. I think it's mostly ridiculous, and I don't care if people bash me for that or whatever. But I guarantee you these governments are playing with all these prophecies and keeping very, very close tabs on it.
I think in some ways it's still the same. Like there's still like a big people flock to prophecies, whether it's biblical or Muslim or XYZ. Nostradamus is popular, right? So like we still do that, but at the same time, I don't think that people are swayed by it as much.
Well, remember 2012 in the Aztec or the Mayan calendar? It was the end of the world.
Yes. What I mean is like back then they dropped the pamphlets into the city, and that literally dictated how the citizens felt. I feel like if that happened now, there's so many people who are also skeptical about this stuff that they're going to be like, eh.
I don't know, man. I disagree because
you think if there was like a war going on and then like pamphlets dropped saying prophecy of this, that people would.
I think the methods just changed based on the time that you're in.
I was going to say, like, if you put it into some kind of social media algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like that's the equivalent of pamphlets.
So you think if like there was like suddenly TikTok and YouTube Shorts talking about the prophecy of this, it would sway people's opinion?
100%. You know why?
Because people are dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also August 7th, Vandy was talking about it earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
People are believing that August 7th or whatever day it is that the Earth's gravity is going to turn off
for like
And-
7 seconds or something like that.
for 7 seconds.
Why?
Because
Because there's a prophecy about it that
no, because
it's not really a prophecy.
because there was a scientist that supposedly detected gravitational waves within our
Yeah.
universe that's directed right at
they're
Earth.
supposed to converge at the same time, where it basically cancels out each other and cancels out gravity until they get through each other, like sort of like a wave.
Yeah, and it's going to last 7 seconds, and supposedly the United States government has appointed $89 billion to this,
Yeah,
and it's called Project Anchor, and it's going all over the internet right now, and it's completely false. It was fabricated and made up just for giggles, and yeah, so now people are having to deal with
yeah. You just have a bunch of people
Also-
believing it, though.
also. Last year, September, people believed that the rapture was going to happen.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that-
so stupid.
I mean,
Well, first of all, going back to everything, how do you know it's fake?
because it was tracked to the original Reddit post.
Well, how do you know it wasn't a plant?
literally, because it's a post.
Because
it's
I
not
eat
a plant.
plants, I eat my vegetables.
I eat red meat. All right. Anyway, I'm done.
No, it's
Yes,
I
so-
guarantee you, like,
I just think
if
it's
you
interesting,
live in a Muslim nation, the government is probably looking.
using Islamic prophecies on
Exactly.
how they yes. That's what I'm saying. It's still I still think it impacts, but I don't think it's as big of a
Yeah.
thing as it was. Like,
sure.
I think it's
because
still used
you have
in,
people who
in certain ways. It's
Sure.
different. Like if you take a
like I don't. Maybe I'm wrong because the government does crazy stuff all the time and stupid stuff.
yeah.
So completely could be wrong, but I
Like-
don't think that they would use prophecy specifically as a propaganda campaign.
Well, they will look at it and use it sort of as a timeline and see like, okay, is this happening?
Well, I guarantee you. Well,
Guarantee me something.
I've heard through Alex Jones,
Oh,
You know what they say about
through
Alex
Alex
Jones?
Jones,
Yep.
that they're supposedly,
Making the frogs gay?
they're supposedly trying to make revelations happen sooner. The end time prophecy.
Yeah,
happen
I've
sooner.
I've heard that too. that
Yeah.
there's a group of people that their goal is to
Bring Christ back. Yeah.
bring, but like they're arrogant. They want to bring him back because I think they can beat him.
Right.
Which is,
And that's
so
what I'm
stupid.
saying. Like, sure, I understand what you're saying too. Like, if World War II, if Japan spread out a bunch of pamphlets in New York City about some kind of Christian prophecy, whatever, saying that it's going to happen, I don't think they would
Well,
believe it.
See, you say that, but I got to give people's idiotic side the credit because one guy made a post on Reddit or some 4chan forum, and now we got Cicada 33, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like one little thing just blossoms when you give people enough information to let their imagination run wild.
I guess I'm playing devil advocate for both sides because humanity's stupid. But at the same time, like if you go back to World War II, people were a lot smarter, I think. I think their IQs were on average higher back then than they are now.
Probably.
I think the average IQ in the US is 98 right now.
I'm below that.
You know that below 70
I just-
you're considered mentally challenged.
I feel like I'm below that. I've never been diagnosed, but if I had to put some money on it, I'd give myself a solid 78.5.
No, I'm a solid average, whatever the average is, 98. I'm
Not to
solid
brag, but I'm like at
98.
120 to 130.
I'm not. I don't know what I am. Oh man. So yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting.
I could be completely wrong too. Like I'm not so confident in that idea because the more I think about it, the more it is kind of like, oh, maybe.
So okay, so
But-
in conclusion of this, like you said, the beginning, how you started this off is how you ended it. The Queen Esther's prophecy. Do you think that is legitimate? Like that was a legitimate prophecy for 1946?
I have no idea. That's the most intriguing one because that part's speculation, but it is factual that these characters are consistently written in this way. And that the number is 5707 and it is 1946.
And it is also the book of Esther is a little bit out of place also.
You know how you've seen the chart of like the things that the Old and New Testament reference back and forth, like there's thousands and thousands of them. I think if you probably zoomed out, because obviously the Bible's full of prophecy, you had like those links to today's world and all of the history we have, it's probably some crazy amount of things that are directly tied or at least match up, like what you were saying, with what's happening in modern time.
So the Esther story is what made me actually want to talk about this, because I wanted to see, because I was nearly 100% positive neither of you ever heard of that before. Because
it sounds familiar, but
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it took me a minute to remember it, but I have heard of that. Yeah. And I don't know.
Like,
it's possible.
It's possible.
When we finally set foot on the other side, that's one of the questions. Like, okay, how many things did we miss that you prophesied or lined up that we could have looked at and finally gotten through and understood something about? How many did we miss? Because I'm sure there's a lot.
So, this Google's saying that Esther is not mentioned at all in the New Testament. And which is again what I was going to say, is that it's kind of out of place.
I may be completely wrong here, but wasn't one of the holidays that they celebrated also in the New Testament because of what Esther did? One of the feasts?
I think, well, yeah, the Jewish religion is known to have a lot of feasts.
Yeah.
A lot of holidays, celebrating a lot of things. I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm almost positive, because it's like the coming out of Egypt that was celebrated. Like the big things that happened obviously were always celebrated.